if we just focus upon what's going on, the China crackdown took place, the hash rate moved to the United States. We drew down to 80, 85 exahash, and now we're back up hitting all-time highs again. So I think the overall mining network has redistributed itself and further decentralized itself, and there's been a Western drift of the Bitcoin network. So I would say geopolitically, we saw Bitcoin drift west, and I would say economically, and that's all been a good thing. I think we've seen a substantial Western embrace of Bitcoin since May, even. If we look at the political winds that are blowing, clearly there's a lot of support. There was a fear, I think, 6 months ago that we might have government antipathy toward Bitcoin in the West. You heard the most informed criticism was, Ray Dalio's, well, it's so good, someone's going to ban it. It's like, it kind of, first it was, well, I don't get it, I don't like it, it's bad. And then it became, I guess it's not bad. And then it became, well, I guess it's not going away and it works, but it works too well. Then it became a Jamie Dimon, Ray Dalio, it's just too good. Even Frank Giestra. Eventually, everybody kind of revolved around or settled upon the narrative that, yeah, it's not bad, it's good, but it's too good, and that's why I'm afraid of it. And I think in the last 6 months, right, we see, in fact, the opposite's happened. The administration's in favor. We've got supporters of Bitcoin in the administration. It seems to me like Biden was a positive check. The entire set of administrative regulators are positive checks. Most of the noise around regulation is really just the altcoiners, right? The DeFi people, the security token people, the staking protocols, the stablecoin issuers, and they want to generate a bunch of noise that regulators are hostile. But I can't see any activity in the past 6 months from a regulator that was, in my opinion, hostile to Bitcoin. I think that the politics right now are such that you kind of have crypto versus Bitcoin. You have all the altcoins versus Bitcoin, and generally, if the altcoins could drag Bitcoin into the debate, right? If it's bad for the altcoin, they want it to be bad for Bitcoin so that all the Bitcoiners will support their position. So I think you see a lot of that where people will try to recharacterize utterances by regulators as being bad for Bitcoin, when in fact, they're not bad for Bitcoin. They're bad for security tokens, DeFi exchanges, unregulated crypto exchanges, NFTs, or something else, but not Bitcoin. I think the other dynamic you see here is a little bit of tension between the entrepreneurs that control the industry in the first decade and the institutions coming in the next decade. Everybody in the world agrees that digital currency is a good idea. I mean, the Chinese want digital currency. I think every country wants it. Even the US wants it. We just can't agree on whether or not you should be an FDIC and, chartered bank to issue it, and whether or not, what are the licenses you need to issue a digital dollar versus anything else, versus an analog dollar. So I think there's a lot of noise that's all about will the entrepreneurs continue to be able to do business unfettered, or will they need to come public, right? Is it public investors or private investors? Is it public companies or private companies? Is it chartered banks or techno entrepreneurial banks? Is it onshore, offshore? I think that in the past 30 to 60 days, the thing that's surprising to me is actually there's so much general support for everything in Congress and the Senate, right? The narrative was they're going to ban it. I think my observation is they don't want to ban anything, right? Which actually means that you have the administration in the middle. you have the politicians on the far, what is the word, liberal side. And then you kind of have Bitcoin maximalist on the other side, which is to my mind interesting. I think that the volatility in the market right now is because Bitcoin is still conjoined with the rest of the crypto industry. Like, as far as I can see, the people driving the market in the near term from day to day are large pools of hedge fund capital and investor capital, highly leveraged, fast money that's cross trading Bitcoin versus every other altcoin offshore and in DeFi with huge leverage. And their time horizons are 1 minute to 1 week. Like, for example, if you look at minute by minute trading patterns of Bitcoin versus ETH, they're trading in lockstep almost every 60 seconds. Like, you'll see a dump in the market in ETH, and it'll be reflected in Bitcoin in 30 seconds. And so that's interesting. And I've seen that correlation going on for a while, irregardless of news. And of course, I think that a lot of people have a lot of money and they have a lot of leverage, right? You can trade with 20x leverage. You can trade, in theory, if you cross collateralize through a DeFi exchange, you could trade with even more than 20x leverage. So there's a lot of fast money with a lot of leverage trading across the CeFi crypto exchanges and the DeFi exchanges. And they've got, Cardano and Dogecoin cross collateralized to ETH. And it seems pretty clear to me, someone's got a big block of Bitcoin tied up in ETH, in the ETH network. And when ETH trades down, Bitcoin's trading down, almost like they're a fused currency pair or a fused asset pair. And they couldn't unconnect that they can't disintegrate that in the near term. Over the long term, like months, quarters, years, yeah. But in minutes, hours, and days, it seems like there's a lot of integration there. So, what do I think in general? It's like, obviously I'm bullish on the asset class. It seems to me that we've got remarkable consensus that Bitcoin is digital property. We got remarkable consensus that Bitcoin is the one universally accepted commodity. We've also got a consensus growing that everything else is a security, by the way, safe, which is, if you roll the clock back 12 months, I think it wasn't clear, but I think right now, out of 6,500 cryptos, I think that you might have a debate over 12 of them being property, and it looks like everything else is a security. And if you're not a proof of work coin, if you're a proof of work coin that's a fork of Bitcoin or something like that, maybe there's a debate about whether it can be property. Half of them aren't, half of them are. But everything that's got an ICO, everything on proof of stake, everything related to DeFi, all of the functional coins, all the staking tokens, it's pretty clear the view of the regulators is if there's staking involved, it's a security. If there's DeFi involved, it's probably a security, right? If there's a central organization, if there's a venture capitalist involved, it's a security. If there's a central development head, it's a security, right? Any of those things are securities. And I think a lot of people don't want to embrace that reality, but that is kind of the reality. And so we're in this very interesting tension where what should theoretically happen is most of the altcoins should disappear, or they should, probably they should disappear. A few should become publicly listed, privately listed security tokens with disclosures and different rails. A lot of the entrepreneurs should should exit, right? They get squeezed out of the market. A few entrepreneurs can come public.